And it's live and it's showtime. Morning, everybody. This is the Astro Weather. I'm Robert Phoenix, and it is the 12th of September. Welcome to the shoe. It's been a minute. We had some internet outage here in this part of the world, and it's been interesting in getting back online and getting up to speed. I'm still without internet. I'm using my phone as a hotspot, which is a new trick that I've mastered here, at least for the time being. And the quality of the stream probably isn't all that great, but it is what it is. It's what we have. Behind me, I have a lovely sunrise over part of Argentina, if you can believe it or not. And I always like to start the off with a inspirational picture. We managed to get through September 11th, 9/11, without any 9/11 talk. Of course, I always have plenty of 9/11 talk. And unfortunately, was not able to do the show on Sunday night due to the internet. And yeah, the other thing too, man, is I was really gassed on Sunday night. I was just I remember I laid down at about 4, I don't know, 4:30 roughly. And I was gonna say, okay, well, I'm gonna get up at 5:20 because I can do the show at 6. And I think I slept until about 5:45, and I'm just like, no, man, I can't do it. I can't do it today. That plus the internet. The internet gave me a really good excuse, gave me a good out. But anyway, we're back and come down the home stretch here for the fall season as we're about to shapeshift into autumn around the 23rd. And I am going to do a show on Sunday night about the 23rd, and I've got a few other things that I wanted to talk about before we skip out of Virgo and into Libra. So, without further delay, by the way, thanks everybody who's in chat for being here. Without further delay, let's get into the Astro Weather, shall we? All right. So here we go. We actually have a grand trine going on with the sun at 19, kind of in that sweet spot with Jupiter and Uranus. Of course, they're both retrograde. And trine with Pluto, which is also retrograde, goes all the way back one more time to the US Pluto at 27 Capricorn, which has its own significance. I would say that the grand trine energy is still in that kind of Virgoan work mode, but looks like we're about to shift into the third decan. So by tomorrow, it moves into the Taurus decan. And again, your activities should add up theoretically, right? The third decan is going to be the Taurus decan, money, resources, all the things that are important in this world. With the sun in Virgo, everything counts, everything measures. So think about that just from that perspective. I wouldn't do anything that in some ways I don't want to be a complete materialist, but in some ways doesn't pay off. I feel like your time, your energy, your effort are worth something. Now we do have the sun moving into a wider opposition here with Neptune's. What are we talking about? 7 degrees. It started a few days ago. When you get into Neptune oppositions, things can be a little tricky, a little confusing. If we look at it from what we call the collective perspective, sometimes it might feel like we're a little lost. Does Neptune retrograde get into that which cannot be mentioned? What we used to call the carjack around these parts. I think that is kind of in the mix. I was at the pharmacist yesterday picking something up for my mother, and man, are they really promoting the pharmacist as your street corner doctor. You can get this shot here, and this shot here, and this shot here, and this shot here, and we can roll them all into one. And I remember I had a client pre COVID, and she was a pharmacist, and she told me about how they were all receiving training to administer shots. Remember before you used to have to go to the doctor to actually get an injection of something? Well, with this, as the sun starts to get closer into this opposition, I think there's also more of a sense that there's just a greater degree of confusion in the world. And you say, well, how much more confusion can there be? Oh, there can be plenty more confusion. But Virgo is the last outpost of individualism before we get to Libra, which is, hey, it's me and you and a dog named Boo, right? So we have this period of time here where it feels to me like you're encouraged to make your own decisions. You're encouraged to, blaze your own trail when it comes to matters that are very personal, like health, very, very personal. It's like, depending on Neptune over here, Neptune is the foggy bottom. And it feels to me like more and more people are stealing their wills against the foggy bottom or the oncoming cloud bank that we're about to encounter here with this direct opposition. It's coming in 7 days. So what are we talking about? The 20th, 19th, 20th of September, kind of around the 23rd period. We'll get into the 23rd on Sunday night. It's a little, how do I say this? A little bit of a tease. All right, so keep your head down today. Keep your head down. Make good informed decisions. Don't let yourself be swayed by the madness of the crowd. And I feel like the more we get into this opposition, the more we get into the madness of the crowd in a lot of ways. The next few days, as the sun moves through these degrees here, 20, 21, 22, 23, still in trine with Uranus, still in trine with Pluto. And the retrograde is important. I kind of went back on a bit of a diet starting yesterday because I just realized how sluggish my body felt. And went to the gym. And so a lot of retrograde stuff going on here, but good. I mean, I think it's good. It's a good opportunity to revisit your health habits. I certainly am. And being a Virgo, I think it's my responsibility and it's incumbent upon me to do that. Mercury is still retrograde. We're at 8 degrees. It's retrograde until the 19th. So we have a week left of Mercury retrograde. I don't get into the shadow and all that stuff. It is what it is. Once it stations, it goes direct. And I've clearly had some Mercury retrograde issues with the tech stuff, without a doubt. The website got hacked. The internet's been down since Saturday night. So I'm definitely going through. It's hindered my productivity to a large extent. But onward we march, and we find the hotspot, and we find the way to do it and get through. And that's how humans are, and that's how life is. Anyway, let's see. Mars and Venus are coming into a pretty nice sextile. Venus is slow. Mars will catch up. So cooperation here is the key. Working with people. You're not alone, even though it feels like it sometimes. You got to do everything. That's the thing about Virgo. Virgo feels like it has to do everything by itself. Virgo does not have a really good track record of getting people to do other things for them. Although there are some interesting people that are directors that are Virgo, like William Friedkin, was able to get people to do things for him. Made some really good movies, made some clunkers, but William Friedkin is an interesting character. That's certainly one way to put it. I think I'm not even sure what I'm talking about. He was born Jewish, but somehow wrapped his arms around Catholicism. And his film, The Exorcist, is a film about, he doesn't call it a horror film. It's a film about faith. I guess I can kind of see that. Anyway, what are we talking about? We're talking about being able to spread it around a little bit and getting help where you can. And even with Mars and Libra, it's kind of like, no, I'll do it on my own. I don't need any help. Well, that's kind of in the mix too. And with the opposition with Chiron as it's coming, right, we're getting closer to it. This whole idea of cooperation, I think, is really important. It's very, very important. We're trying to get the last. We're trying to just kind of squeeze the last drops out of summer here. We have Juno and Venus and the Moon, and of course Black Moon Lilith, which has been in Leo for a while now. It's all, so we're just trying to squeeze the last few drops. The Moon is in that balsamic phase, squaring Jupiter, squaring Uranus. Even though we already had Labor Day, it feels like this coming weekend, people are just like, okay, we know this is it. We're delaying the inevitable. We're going to have to get back on the treadmill, even though you shouldn't theoretically be on a treadmill, but sometimes life happens and we get into these routines, and of course you have kids, they got to get to school and all this other stuff, right? So we're trying to squeeze the last few days and rays out of the summer, and the moon is about to go dark here. And I wonder, just as a course of astrological and meteorological weather, if we're really going to see a bit of a climatic shift over the next 24 to 48 hours. It'll be really interesting just to witness that, as this moon goes from basically balsamic Leo into balsamic Virgo, and literally really goes dark and moves into that kind of autumnal phase. As far as relationships go, I would try to look for win-win and that what I would call natural and organic cooperation. Just like I naturally and organically cooperate with the Astro Cat. Here he is, back on the scene. With the gangster lean. Look at that. The man. Have you had a good morning? I can smell the food on your breath. You've had a good morning. You're ready to like kick back and basically lounge over your domain, your palace. So there's a saying, if it don't fit, don't force it. And I think that's a good mantra for today, especially with relationships. And you get into these squares here with Venus and the moon. It's like, you owe me. Come on, you owe me. Well, try not to be too, yes, I know. I owe you. I know. That's true. You've made a good presence on the show today, and I'll take care of you. Yeah, just try to stay clear of debt-based relationships today. Try to stay clear of it. Just look for equality. Look for partnerships and opportunities that fit. If one comes up in your lap that feels uncomfortable and weird, explore it. Right? I think it's an interesting time to explore something if the opportunity falls into your lap. But I would also say, make sure that you don't have to fight too hard for it, because we're in ease right here with this sextile. Find the right angle of relating with people today. And we have some nice healing energy with Venus and the moon, and especially with the moon in this balsamic phase, being able to let go of some slight differences. All in all, I think this is a pretty interesting day. And if you're willing to take responsibility for your life, your path, willing to find the right connection, the right angle of relating, if it don't fit, don't force it relationships, watch out for debt-laden relationships. I think this is a good day. I think it's a very good day. And if you're trying to squeeze the last few days and rays of summer out of your week here, I think this is where we're at, and have fun while you're doing it. Okay. Let's see, what do we have here? Let's go into our star of the day, whom I think I've done before, but since we're sort of new with this operation and doing this on a daily basis, it feels like I can do this person again. I think I looked at their chart one night on Sunday night. And today is kind of an interesting day for the star of the day. But, I always try to find people that are, you can see their chart inside of them. And this is Paul Walker. And Paul Walker, of course, was the star of the Fast and Furious series. And I always felt it was interesting because of the relationship with Mercury in his chart. And he's a double Virgo with the sun and the ascendant here at Virgo, right? So people that are double signs, it's like they have double power in some ways, and they have kind of an extra charisma in their charts. And you'll see this with people who are double somethings, especially if the sun is on the other side of the horizon and in the first house. And what I always found interesting was the role that Gemini and Mercury plays in his chart. So, first of all, Fast and Furious is about cars and going fast and being furious while you go fast. So, when we think of cars, we think of travel, we think of Gemini. He's got a Gemini midheaven right here, right? 9 degrees. And then he has a wide conjunction with Sun and Mercury in his first house. But here, when we get into Pluto, is where it gets quite intense, actually, because Paul Walker died in a car crash. He was not driving, which is something that many people seem to forget. His best friend was driving. And so what we have here is we have this Moon Mercury Pluto conjunction. Now, not everybody that has a Mercury Pluto conjunction dies behind the wheel or in the passenger seat. But we could make a case here, and especially with the friend driving, that's Libra. And we also have Venus here at the 29th degree, the anaretic degree of Libra, and also with Uranus, where things are swift, sudden, fast, furious, right? And these degrees, well, actually, the degree of his Venus is what we call the via combust or the via combusta or the burning path, which I think starts around 23 Libra and goes into about 14 Scorpio. And it's those degrees where theoretically the dross is burned off the individual through relationships and through loss and things like that. It's kind of an intense degree pattern. So he has this at the 29th degree. And again, we're seeing this whole idea of Libra, the other Mercury, Pluto, Venus, Uranus, the burning path. So we can kind of see his demise a little bit in his chart. Clearly, we can see the popularity of the franchise, Fast and Furious, in his chart. He also has this Mars in Taurus. And I think they shot a lot of the Fast and Furious stuff on location in other countries, not just the US. And in as much as Mercury is connected to, where's Mercury? Movement and travel, things like that. So is Mars. Mars is very chariot-like in a lot of ways. The whole idea with Mars is that it's theoretically supposed to be moving forward. And here with Mars, we've got some issues in his chart. We have a wide opposition with Venus, and then we have this T-square going on with Jupiter. And it's almost like how much, how fast, how soon, right? This is a very interesting T-square for Paul Walker. And I think I read somewhere, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think I read somewhere that he was kind of getting his nose dirty in the whole trafficking thing. I can't validate that, but if that's true, and I think it had to do with his sister, if I'm not mistaken. Well, here we have Neptune in the third house, which is siblings. It's kind of ingressing into the fourth, but it also has this yod with Saturn in Cancer, and he's got this south node. And to me, this is somebody that kind of wakes up and realizes they have a responsibility. That's what I think. So there was some. What was interesting about Paul Walker is that he dies not long after Michael Hastings, and Michael Hastings is an Aquarian, if I'm not mistaken, in very strange circumstances with both of these characters. So it's almost hard in some ways to disentangle like Paul Walker's fiery demise along with Michael Hastings' fiery demise. And they both happened in Los Angeles, which is also really, really weird. Born on a full moon, and people that have full moons in their charts tend to again, they stand out, right? So it's their lifetime of, fullness, the effulgent moon, illumination. And there's a lot more going on here in this chart that we have actual time for. But I think the guy is probably a pretty good guy. I don't think, he doesn't have any terrible squares to Neptune. He's got this in conjunct with Saturn. Feels like he kind of woke up. That's what it feels like. There's like a responsibility here with that South Node. And by and large, I think he's got a pretty interesting chart. And you can see where, he made a name for himself with his good looks, the sort of the double power of Virgo in his first house. And then even the Venus at that anaretic degree in Libra, kind of bestows like good looks and grace to the individual, men or women. But it's a shame that this guy died. And clearly, we can see some of it in his chart, but who knows? Maybe there was more going on there than just live fast, die young, and leave a good-looking corpse, which seems to be the formula, I think, ever since James Dean crashed his Porsche Spider in Southern California. All right, there's your star of the day, Mr. Paul Walker. Mr. Walk, Don't Run, Paul Walker. We are headed out of here, and it looks like we're going to try to tee up 15 minutes of flame over on Rumble today because I've not been able to get online and fix my website. It's been a real interesting pain in the ass Mercury retrograde. But if you are interested, please join us over on 15 Minutes of Flame. That's on Rumble, and I do have a 15 Minutes of Flame page over on Rumble, and there's plenty to get into and jump into. Also, if you are interested in hemp, CBD as a product that can add to the quality of your life, let me take you on over to True Hemp Science, who is the one and only sponsor of the show. It's the only time you'll hear me talk about a sponsor, besides myself, and which I should probably talk more about. Let's see if we can handle the workload here. Here we go. So True Hemp Science, your one-stop shop for all things hemp. We got edibles, oils, water-soluble, pets. There's other goodies as well that are there, salves, fulvic acid. So our friend Chris does a great job, and he'll be at the event this year down in Texas, here in Texas in Kerrville. We're coming up on it. All you event people, I am working to get out an email. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I couldn't get online, and we're working it out. So today, hopefully, once they come out to the rural patch here and solve all of our internet issues, we'll put out some info for the event. But there you go. All you got to do is go in here and poke around, and if you see something you like and you are interested in the product, first of all, if you have any questions, well, of course you can learn, and all you got to do is speak to a CBD expert, and that expert is Chris, and all you got to do there is just fill out this little form right there, and you'll get a call back, and he'll help you. He'll walk you through all the product. Spend $100 or more, and guess what? Type in 15MINS, and you will get free product along with your order. It's that easy. And you get to try new things, and you get to see how they work. And if you spend $150 more, you get free shipping, which is always a boon and a blessing. And finally, 30-day money-back guarantee. You're helping a Main Street business. We got to keep these businesses alive. We're living in a time where these fucking globalists are picking the small guy off. And that's one of the reasons why I decided I wanted to support Chris. Aside from the fact he has really good product, he's one of us. And, keeping, one spoke in our wheel intact is really, really important. So if you're interested in CBD, not just any CBD, please go to truehempscience.com, check it out, make an appointment, get the right CBD for you. He'll be great assistance there. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. Come join us at 15 Minutes of Flame over on Rumble. Until then, use your head in order to discern what's real, your heart to accept what's possible. For myself, Jasper, wishing you all a blessed day. Take care. Bye for now.